When you're born with something and you're immediately doing this treatment regimen every day, you don't ever have a normal day. I mean, to this day, I've never had a normal day. It certainly was cumbersome, it took a lot of time, but we made it work so I could still be a kid and hang out with my friends.
The doctor came in and it was very blunt. He said, by the way, they noticed something strange in her stool, and if that's the case, it could be cystic fibrosis in which she'll die. Rather blunt.
We ultimately took her to Mattoon, Illinois, to another doctor, a pediatrician, and he said, we want to test her for CF, and he got a positive result and referred us to St. Louis Children's Hospital.
I always had to be so careful, and we always had to say, is there anybody sick in your house? When people came to our house for Thanksgiving, just remember, if you have a cold, let us know or don't come. I really wasn't able to travel with anyone other than my parents. Thankfully, we did fun vacations and things. Because my treatments at that point were all by hand, obviously I had to physically have my mom or my dad with me to do those.
She has always done everything that was asked of her. What more could you ask for somebody her age to grow up with it and deal with it, do everything that's ever been asked of her by the doctors, by
and stay
us.
positive.
One positive with having cystic fibrosis or a family with it is it does make you closer. You inevitably become a tighter knit group that's sort of dealing with this together.
We're from a tiny town, Shelbyville, Illinois, and we would every year have our bike-a-thons.
The kids all went around town and got sponsors. We just raised money each year through the bike-a-thons, and it went to the foundation.
Through high school, about every 2 to 3 years, I was in the hospital. It became a little bit better when I could do the PICC lines at home because I was able to do IV antibiotics at home, living in an apartment with a girlfriend. Brian and I met after college. We met a really romantic story. We were at a party.
I knew very little. I knew the name. I mean, it's not something she led with to say, I have cystic fibrosis and this is, what I'm dealing with. But definitely early in the conversation, that did come out, and Abbie pulled me aside and kind of explained a little bit more on what that meant, and learned as much as I could early on just to better understand how this is affecting her and how I can better support her.
When I talked with my pulmonologist about having a baby, and he had said it is a very significant risk, we have many unsuccessful stories, and I shared that with Brian. He just listened, and then he talked to his sister.
Julie was a huge part of this story, and us being able to have a family and knowing that Abbie would likely not be carrying our children.
She said to him immediately, I would happily carry your baby. At this point, we knew Brian was a carrier. We knew they wouldn't have CF. And then we went ahead, had frozen embryos. So when our physician, he said, if you implant 2, there is a less than 5% chance that both of them would take. So she's like, okay. So sure enough, we implant 2. Sure enough, they're like, oh, there's a heartbeat. So we're like, oh, great, yay, we're hearing the heartbeat for the first time. Then she goes, and there's the second heartbeat. And all 3 of us were like, wait, what?
In one word, I would describe my mom as confident.
In one word, I would describe my mom as capable.
Wasn't until the girls were born in 2011, around the time they were 2 or 3, is really when I started to get sick more frequently and longer. I have tiny little scars from having all those PICC lines, and they were having trouble getting them in. So I remember my nurse practitioner saying, I think it's time to talk about a port. And that was a horrible conversation for me, because I felt like what that meant was, I'm now just this sick person. And around that time is when my pulmonologist, Dr. Brown, said, we're seeing great success in the Petri dish of what is now Trikafta. They're starting studies. We want to be a site. It was probably not going to be long before I would have been on a transplant list. My FEV was plummeting. She said, hey, we're going to do this lottery. And I got to be in the trial.
I believe I met Abbie in 2014. She became very involved in our chapter, attending a lot of events and joining committees, and then fast forward to 2019, she joined our board. I remember her often being hospitalized, and the girls would have to go and visit her in the hospital. When I started at the foundation in 2012, I remember the median age of survival at that time was 37. The conversations that I would have with families, the urgency and the desperation and the sheer fear is something that you can't even explain.
Day one, my FEV is 58%. FEV is forced expiratory volumes. Take a deep breath in, blow out as hard and fast as you can, and measure how much is moving through those airways. Start the study drug. I go back in 2 weeks. The first time that I remember thinking, holy crap, I think I got the drug, is I would wake up to go to the bathroom at night and I would tiptoe because any movement I would start coughing, I wouldn't stop, and I wouldn't sleep. So I remember waking up in the middle of the night, I went to the bathroom, came back, laid down and thought, oh my God. It was the first time I'd ever not coughed, just walking to the bathroom. Gosh, over the next several days, my cough started significantly subsiding. Then I go back for the 2-week visit, and sure enough, my FEV for the first time ever went up by at that point, 13%. And I could do the test without just coughing. And all of a sudden, I had energy like I don't remember having ever, in years. I heard someone else with CF say, it feels like I'm living in someone else's healthy body, and that is 100% what it is. Trikafta is absolutely a miracle drug.
When I think about Abbie, and you think, I don't even remember what you were like before Trikafta. And it is so important to remember what it was like before Trikafta because not everyone has it.
I became more involved, attending events, bringing friends and family in, participating in great strides, having recognized what the foundation did for me and for our family. If we hadn't started those grassroots efforts back then, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so how much further can we go if we just continue this? It's almost like I have before and after. And so having that perspective of which thankfully new parents today hopefully won't have that experience of the before because we put in the time and effort and fundraising and did the work, that their outcome will look so different.
Whenever we got pregnant, we opted to have the basic genetic panel, and we were both carriers for the same genetic mutation of cystic fibrosis. So we opted to have an amniocentesis done, and we found out after 12 long days of waiting that our baby did test positive for having CF.
I remember walking in the front door, putting her on the ground and going, well, what now? What do we do? It was just a very emotional, kind of crazy day.
We actually did a prenatal consult with Dr. Pittman, and I think that's when the foundation was mentioned. From the get-go, that's where we got connected. We're obviously like, holy cow, there's gonna be a lot of medications, a lot of equipment that we might need, like her vest and nebulizers. That's when I found out about the CF Compass. I remember they reviewed my insurance plan for medications that Stevie might need. And they also mentioned all of the grants and assistance programs that you can register for. I really liked being able to call Compass and have someone dedicated to helping us with our specific situation.
For Stevie Lou, she's fortunate to have the target mutation for Trikafta. For her, that should mean a very normal life. It should mean that she can go to school, go to college, get married, have kids, and live to that 65-year plus mark.
What I have told parents from the very beginning of my training is that we expect everything that you dreamed for your child before you knew they had CF. We just know we have to work a little bit harder to get them there. But I think we're really getting to that point where that statement is true for almost every single one of our patients, where they are going to live long, happy, healthy lives achieving whatever it is they want to achieve, whether it's being long distance runners, opera singers, President of the United States, whatever they want to do, they can do, and they're just going to do it with less and less disease burden and less of a sense that CF is interfering with everything else that they want to do with their lives.
I would tell people who are thinking about investing in the CF Foundation, I'm alive because of it, and what a gift to be able to give new parents of newly diagnosed babies with CF the hope that we weren't given. Investing in that research has paid off tenfold, and it will only continue to do so. But we can't leave anyone out, and I do believe ultimately we will cure this disease, but it's going to still continue to come with great efforts and great research and great investment in the CF Foundation.
We not only have added years, we have added quality of life, we have added milestones, experiences, things that people dream of are realities, and that is what life's all about.